All right, guys, it's an exciting day. We've got some new products that we're going to be playing around with. We're down here in Kansas right now chasing big whitetails, but we're nice enough to have Brandon come join us from Garmin today. Like I said, we're going to be going through some new products. You know, one of the things that I'm excited about is I've been a vertical bow guy my whole life.
Yep.
So I'm just starting to get into this whole crossbow world, and it's a great big world, man. It's something like it opens up tons of new possibilities and opportunities. And Garmin entered the vertical bow sight world with the XERO A1 and the A1i a couple of years back.
Yep.
But today we're talking about the brand new scope that you guys have for crossbows. Let's talk about this thing.
Yeah, so I kind of come from the same background, right? So I was a vertical bow for the longest time, and we went to those ATA shows. I got to go to one here back in 2018, I think it was, and everybody that popped up the booth is like, oh, this thing's awesome, but is there something that you could do on a crossbow?
Yep.
And basically from that point, we kind of went to work. So the last 2 to 3 years, we've been working on developing what you've got in your hands there, which is basically took all that technology or that concept where at a press of a button, you can take a range and drop a single aim point to be able to take a shot. So along with that, it's built in, it's got 3.5 magnification. And I think the biggest difference that we talked about a little bit earlier is, right, is on the A1i series, you can get, multiple colors in terms of red and green pins.
Yep.
But on that, I think there's 7 or 8 different colors that you can select along the process. So you can go with yellow, green, blue, whatever your eye can pick up on. And along with that, it's just like a crystal clear picture. So there's a lot of really intuitive instructions along in the setup process. And then once you actually get everything set up, there's a ton of little widgets that we'll talk about later. So there's a thing called steadying that we'll hit on. So it's just the biggest thing is it's configurable. You can make it super complex or you can make it super easy, but it's a crystal clear picture through that thing. And
it does all the work for you. From everything that I've heard, it basically does the work for you in terms of setup, right?
Right. I mean you still got to get out there. You got to get in front of the deer. You got to get near them. But for me, it makes 2 big differences on both the A1i and the X1i. One is you're ready for anything. So regardless of where that animal comes through at, you're always ready to take a shot, take a range. It takes out all that extra motion. And the other big thing, especially for the housing piece, is it can give you a crisp, clear housing, and you're not having to deal with clutter or trying to figure out exactly where you're at on the animal.
Right.
You can just see through it. And for me personally, the last few years of shooting it, that's made me so much better.
Yeah, I think the big thing from my standpoint is, with a Garmin sight, and I've used the A1i extensively, you feel like you're always ready.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you're unprepared for. You've got your pins that you could fall back if you need them, but other than that, you know that you're sighted into whatever distance you spent time at the range on, and anywhere in between. So not having to worry about stuff like gap shooting anymore, trying to shoot between pins and all that stuff. it just makes life so simple.
Yep. Yeah, for me, it's changed that whole initial process from getting in the stand, right? So I used to jump up there, pull my rangefinder out, and try to remember all these little pinpoints around here. That's 17, that's 25. Man, I hope he comes through that same trail.
Yep.
That whole part goes away. You sit back, you kind of close your eyes, and you can start to listen and see all right, where's stuff coming and what's going to start to unfold.
Yeah.
So.
Well, cool, man. Listen, I'm excited. We got the Mission Sub 1 XR here. We're going to drop this thing on. You're going to show me exactly how easy it is to get set up. Right?
Yeah, heck yeah. Let's go.
Okay, let's roll. Okay, so we're going to drop that in the pick rail just like that, tighten these up, and then this is the lock over here, right?
Yep. So ideally, you've got to grip that thing and break it over pretty well, but if you stick the Allen wrench in there,
you go in here,
get a little torque on it, you need to snap it over once, and as soon as you hear it click, you're perfect. Yep.
Okay.
So that's the perfect torque.
That's the set amount of torque that it's going to require. So that's locked in and that's ready to go. Okay, where are we going from here?
All right, so the first set of things you're going to run into is a sequence of kind of generic setup things, right? So get your language set up, whichever one you want there. And really it's going to walk you through picking your initial color setup that we talked through earlier. The other piece it's going to talk through is your display brightness.
Yep.
So one feature I did want to talk on real quick is you can set it. So we've got this one top button I talked about already, and then we've got 3 more here on the side. So there's going to be an OK button and an up and down button.
Gotcha.
You can use those up and down buttons to toggle the brightness up initially. But on the front end here, same thing as we got with the A1 series, is there's an ambient light sensor. And so regardless of the shooting conditions that you're in, that brightness of that display is going to automatically adjust. So it's a crystal clear picture for you.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. All right, so we're okay over here. Power, all that.
Yeah, so we got batteries tossed in there already, right?
Yep.
You guys did that?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, the other one key thing I wanted to talk on real quick is in this initial setup to save those batteries is it's going to be set to a 30-second timeout.
Yep.
So you may be walking through this thing, making a trek back and forth to the target, and you might come back and it may, gone to sleep on you.
Yep.
You push any button, it wakes back up, and it's set to basically pick right back up.
So it's in the same spot, so you don't
Same
have to
spot,
worry
yep.
about going back and redoing everything.
Yeah, and there'll be a little message in there that tells you, just let you know, like, hey, if this will shut down in 30 seconds, push any buttons and you're good to go.
Okay. Cool.
If you want it to be longer, it's gonna ding your battery life a little bit, but you can go into the settings later and turn that sleep time up a little bit.
Cool.
So.
Okay. So basically, we've been doing this about 3 minutes, and it's already mounted up on the pick rail, ready to rock and roll. When you get into this thing, it's so incredibly intuitive. This is the X1i, the brand new crossbow sight from Garmin. Already went through, set my language to English, set the desired pin locations based on a estimated range. So we've got 20, 40, 60, 80 that are in there right now. But the first thing to make sure that all that's dialed is we're going to walk up to 5 steps, and we're going to let a bolt fly, see what happens.
Yeah, so on that one, you missed a little bit low.
Yep.
So we're going to go ahead and make one adjustment in that direction. And I think since we're close enough there, we're really on paper already. So we're going to go ahead and back on up to 20 yards from there.
Okay, easy enough. Works for me. Okay, so we just got back to 20 yards. Crossbow's ready to rock and roll. Just got to wake the sight up. And we should be pretty close, so let's give it a rip. Okay, fire it home. Well, works for me. Okay, so I can confirm that now, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can talk about one quick thing here. So at this point in the process, you've kind of got like 2 avenues you can go down. So if you want to, the next piece is you're gonna be able to go through and enter in your bow speed. You can put in like a chronode bow speed if you've got it,
yep.
or you can take the advertised one, which then we'll go through and validate. Or if you actually want to walk through and validate all of your ranges all the way back out, you can kind of take that avenue.
Gotcha. So you can do it both. You can either let this do all the
yep.
work, or you can decide.
Just
okay.
yeah, let the automation. And
yep.
for me, like I've done the manual one a ton, just because it's so easy to take that speed, plug it in, and
yep.
just back up and roll from there.
Cool.
So.
Okay. Cool. So we got the 20-yard pin. We basically put the bow speed in. It's telling me to validate that bow speed back up to 50 and send one down the pipe.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So the first shot of 50 is dialed. I mean, the vertical, which is what I'm sighting in right now, is perfect. It's incredible. Well, there you have it. The setup of the Garmin X1i is really simple. Dude, I can't stress that enough. Somebody who's brand new to crossbows like me, took us, if we're not talking to the camera and messing around with each other, what, 15 minutes?
Yeah, 15, 20 minutes, I think.
I mean, and we're back to 50 yards right now, and we're dialed into 80. So
yep.
Crazy simple. We even had some of the guys shoot it. I mean, transferable from one guy to another. It doesn't matter. Just, a lot like a rifle. It's just crazy. But there's one more thing we want to talk about, and there's 2 different ways to range with this. We can range from on top.
Yep.
Or you've got a cable much like the vertical bow sight has, the A1i has.
Yep. Yeah. So a detachable cable that comes in the box with it, and I personally like to walk through that whole setup process just using that top range button the whole time, and then when I get to this point, go ahead and start working in that cable. So in the box, there's going to be 3 things that you can use to attach that button to your crossbow. So there's going to be the tape, and then there'll be 2 button clips in there. One has a concave bottom to it, and one's flat. So it really depends on what's your crossbow build and what fits best. So the other key thing is just keep it out of the way of all the moving parts and route it around to a spot that's comfortable for you. So you can see here, I just kind of routed it down and back and actually looped it all the way under. I like the mechanics of like pushing up to take that range and then
yep.
pulling back to take that shot. So yep.
That's awesome, man. Well, listen, another fantastic product coming out of Garmin.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what you guys are going to come up with next, but this thing is wicked. Let's put it that way.
It was fun. I appreciate you guys having us out today.
Well, listen, why don't you go see if you can smack a doe tonight?
That'd be fun.
We're still in Kansas. We still got deer tags. Let's go!